What's up, everybody? I'm Leo Ravina, and this is Classic Glass. Today, we're not at the Surfboard factory, we're somewhere a little bit different, but it could be equally as dusty sometimes. We're in my living room, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself and a little bit about what we plan on doing with Classic Glass. Where did the idea come from? Where did I come from? Why do I know so much about classic surfboards? So here we go, let's talk about it. So I didn't grow up living by the beach. I'm actually from a small coal mining town called Hazleton, Pennsylvania, up in the northeast corner. Oddly enough, it's not known for its good surf. When I was about 16 or 17 years old, I saw the movie Endless Summer, and like many people that saw the movie Endless Summer, they wanted to take up surfing. I was just totally captivated by it. You know, hanging out at the beach, surfing those big boards. I mean, what's not to like about it? Seeing that movie, you know, being that it was in the 60s, that was like what my idea of surfing was. So I was always really into vintage stuff and 60s and 70s music and the art from that time period. And surfing just seemed to be an extension of that. So it took some time, and I found a used vintage surfboard on Craigslist. It was a Hansen Master 8 outside of Philadelphia. Bought it off an old biker. The nose was chopped off and it had a bunch of bullet holes in it. But hey, it's just a little bit of character. And I'm a character myself, so, it fits. So I took it back to my dad's garage and patched it up with some boat resin and took it surfing. The first place I went surfing was Assateague Island, Maryland. And man, was I terrible at surfing. I'm still not that good, but I ain't that bad either. And that's when I really caught the bug. And from there, it's just like, I wanted to keep learning more about those classic boards. I wanted to keep learning how to become a better surfer, how to nose ride, how to knee paddle, how to just trim really well, do a good cutback. It was a slow obsession that just kept building and building and building. And that's what really led me into what became my future career. I never lost the surfing bug, even after that one time in high school where I took my beat up old surfboard surfing in Maryland. Ended up moving further away from the ocean to Williamsport, Pennsylvania, to go to college at Pennsylvania College of Technology, where I studied in industrial design, which is just a fancy way of saying product design. But even while I was there, I was still looking for classic longboards on Craigslist and stuff like that. And it wasn't until after college I really couldn't find a job in my field. And a previous summer, I moved down to the Outer Banks just to kind of work a summer job. I'm like, well, hell, I might as well go back down there and maybe I can make something out of all this. So I still had my beat up old Hansen and met up with some guys and started surfing with them. And they looked at me and they're like, what the hell are you surfing? And I go, oh, it's an old 60s longboard. And the one guy tried it, he goes, I can't catch a damn wave on this board. He goes, you got to get yourself a new board. So I sold my old Hansen and then I picked up another board, traded that in, and I got a new surfboard. And then a couple months later, I was talking to a friend of mine. He's like, hey, you ever think about shaping? I'm like, actually, I think it'd be a really cool thing to do. You know, I have like this artistic kind of background, this design kind of background. I'm going to give it a try. So I picked up a blank and started shaping a 10-foot longboard in my buddy's garage. We called it the Elephant, and it was massive. It still hangs in my garage today. Built a couple more boards, and then miraculously, through some friends of a friend, there happened to be an opening with WRV surfboards for a sander, a polisher, a glosser. It was right before Thanksgiving, and they pretty much hired me on the spot. They said, come on in after the holiday and you got yourself a job. So starting out with WRV, I was only sanding and polishing and glossing and stuff like that. And I still wanted to build my own boards. And that's where I started the Uncle Leo's label. From there, I just kept on shaping on the side. And in the evenings, I would get the chance to sometimes build my boards there, shape at some of my buddies' places. And I just kept pushing myself to keep building boards that I wanted to surf and boards that I thought were pretty cool. In the meantime, with WRV, I kept working my way up there too. I started laminating more and I started machining for them. And later, with more boards being built under the Uncle Leo label, they believed that I could be a shaper for them. So what started out as just a job I might be doing for a year kind of got a little bit out of hand. I've been with the company for about 7 years now. It kind of set my whole life off in a different direction than I was anticipating on. But I mean, it's been great. I really don't have any complaints. I really got myself in the right place at the right time. So now I'm one of their shapers and I'm still lambing, still doing pin lines for them, even took up learning some airbrush, which has been a lot of fun too. So being a full-time surfboard builder for a legacy company like WRV that's been around since '67, I still continued the Uncle Leo's label for all my passion projects. The boards that weren't really fit for production, but I still wanted to see exist, like stringerless longboards and, really big gliders and just like kind of wild nose riders, step decks, things of that nature. From there, I guess it went even further because I really fell even deeper in love with the whole classic longboards, the whole thing, just not even just the boards, the fins, the art style behind them, the glassing to them. And that's what led me into wanting to make classic glass. It's just taking my one obsession and just making it even more obsessed. So if you made it this far in the video, you're probably wondering, what is classic glass? So classic glass materialized from my obsession of the obsession. And I've kind of gotten to the point where I'm starting to learn all these things about these boards on a level that it's more than you could just Google. I'm reading all these books, I'm reading all these old magazines, and I'm actually acquiring a lot of these boards, or at least coming across them in my travels. And I just really want to share that information. All my friends are like, Leo, stop telling us about classic longboards. We don't care what happened in 1967, but I need to tell somebody, and I'm going to tell you guys on the internet. So classic glass, I want to talk about primarily old surfboards and, highlight the people that built them, the companies they came from, what they were trying to get across in that time span. The time period between the late 50s and early 70s, everything was moving at such a high rate of speed that we were just like kind of jumping over things. So a lot of people kind of got missed, a lot of designs got missed. And I think it's worth highlighting because there's a lot of stuff in there that they came up with that was like really practical, and it never really got more than a season out of it before the next board, the next new thing already happened. I mean, realistically, surfing hasn't been around in the modern sense for all that long. And we have a freaking crazy, wild history of just characters and shapers and surfers and builders and travel stories and just exploring the world that we need to talk about. So with classic glass, probably going to do some restoration work. Seemed like people are really interested on seeing how that all goes down. It's really intricate stuff. It's super time consuming and scares the hell out of me because you can't mess it up. You got to do it right the first time. But there's tons of other things that are going to go along with it, like talking about specific models of surfboards. Along with that, we're going to be talking about some other surf history related things such as fins. It was a huge part. Everything was changing so rapidly, going from big D fins to these big rake back ones to going short again. And then along with that, we have all the old magazines. There's tons of things to cover in here. So with classic glass, I'm hoping to achieve all that to the best of my ability. I don't believe I could get it all right. We weren't the best at writing down all of our history, being surfers and all that. We're kind of focused on one thing and one thing only most of the time. So we didn't really keep good track of it, but I'm going to do my best to make it right, get it out there as truthful as I can to the best of my ability. I'm going to use all the resources I could to do it. If you liked what you saw, subscribe to Classic Glass, turn on those notifications, smash that like button, and leave a comment below. I fucked that up. Where'd we leave off? Where did I go to college? Studied industrial design. Stuttled. If you liked what you saw, subscribe to Classic Glass. Turn on your Turn on your notifications. Maybe I'll become a surfboard builder or something like that, but that'll never really happen. But it did. Cut it. What's up, everybody? I'm Lou. Man. Well, we're gonna try it one more time. I'm just talking to the camera and my friend Juliana that's standing behind the camera. All I have to do is tell her about Classic Glass. It's not that hard. Ah! Fucking this up so bad. And don't forget to subscribe to Classic Glass.